you guys to be so close. So I guess we'll just chat like girlfriends, right? So yeah, that cape actually has magical powers. So, I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. I just wanted to thank Lindsay for inviting me and Michael for having me. You guys have been helping me look fabulous for many years, and my hair wouldn't look like this without the services that I get here. So, and you know, something I do want to say is that every time I come in here, I experience such an environment of positivity. So I've always had a great experience coming in. So I just want to say thank you for that. So today I'm going to share parts of my story with the hope that it will inspire you in your story, because we all have stories, and you guys are all here going to school for a reason, because you have a vision for your future and what you want to do with it. And so some of you will probably go into fashion or hair design or makeup. I'm sure some of you have visions to be stylists for celebrities or super important public figures. And some of you maybe want to start your own salon. Some of you want to be independent stylists. And all of those visions are amazing. And so I want to share with you my story about starting my own business and kind of the process that led up to that, with the hope that it will give you some inspiration in pursuing your business and your future. Can you guys hear me? I'll make sure I talk loud enough. If I end up trailing off, just let me know. So I was actually born in Tacoma. Yay. And at birth, I was actually given up for adoption, which was one of the most amazing things that my birth mom could have done for me. Because I was adopted by parents who had adopted, they also adopted 5 other children with disabilities. So I grew up in a family with 5 siblings with disabilities, and then my parents had 2 of their own. And so my parents specifically, they had the heart to invest in us and to make sure that we had everything we needed to be successful in life. And I think I'm going to start with a story about when I was 4 years old. Basically, my parents saw some of my giftings early on in my life. And just to let you know, everybody is born with a set of talents and strengths. And you're born with them. You can't get rid of them, and you can't, and if you use them, then they'll be advantageous for you in your life. So when I was 4 years old, my parents took me and my family to a local rodeo. And I heard the announcer in the stand, and I, on my own, hopped on my butt all the way up to the announcer stand, and my parents didn't know where I had gone. So they were like looking around for me, and all of a sudden they heard my voice over the speaker, and I had gone up to the announcer and said, "I want to talk on the microphone." And so he had given me the microphone, and he was whispering in my ear everything that he would have said. So I was announcing the rodeo, and I was like age 4. So my dad, he was like, "That's our daughter." And they knew where I was, and so they went up and found me. And he said that I sounded like a grown-up. And I don't remember this, but ever since that day, he's like, "You're going to be a public speaker. You have like a voice for radio or TV or something, and you're going to go out, and that's what you're good at." And so all throughout my upbringing, he would always remind me of that. And so the vision of being a public speaker was planted early on, and the seed of that was there. And that seed of that vision got me through some really hard times. Like, I was teased in middle school and high school pretty brutally, but even in that dark time when I would cry a lot in the locker room and I felt like a big fat loser in school, I had that seed of that vision, like, no, my life is going to be good, and I'm gonna do something good with my life, and I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna do something else. And so that doesn't say that time wasn't hard, but that seed of that vision got me through that. And so then when I went off to college, I made some friends there that were just really, really amazing people. Like, they spoke into my life, they encouraged me, And it was the first time that I really felt like I belonged. And it was basically my church community that I'm still part of now. And they believed in me more than anyone ever has in my life. And that impacted me in such a powerful way. And literally, their words pulled me out of the low self-esteem that had trailed with me from middle school and high school and all those experiences. And I'm sure that a lot of you have been through that too. And so their positivity and their encouragement changed my life. And what happened through those words was that that little seed of the vision became a big picture. And it became attainable, and it became something that I could see where I was going, instead of it just being like, oh, someday out in a big nothingness, I'm going to be a motivational speaker, or I'm going to do this sort of career. It became something that I could see happening. And so I got a degree in psychology at PLU here in Tacoma. And after I graduated, I went on and got a degree in radio broadcasting, and then I also got a master's degree in counseling. Wow. And yeah, and so all of that was for the purpose of moving towards becoming a public speaker and becoming a motivational speaker, which is what I've wanted to do since early on. And so in that time of going to school, I lived in bachelorette pads, which I don't know if any of you, raise your hand if you live in a bachelorette pad right now. Oh, not right now. Only one. I figured some of you would be living in bachelorette pads. But if you put more than 5 women in a house, like, stuff's gonna go down. Like, it was a time, like, it could have been a reality TV show. Like, and I mean, I had some amazing friends that came out of that time, but I would say, like, in those 10 years that I was going to school and just, you know, working part-time to make rent and dealing with a lot of chaos in my home environment, it kind of felt, I mean, in that time, I can tell you, I felt like, is this really ever going to happen for me? Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be, like, a motivational speaker. I just kind of felt like that vision started to lose its luster because I felt like I was dealing with just constant chaos. But it's kind of like running a marathon. You can't see the finish line, but when you get tired, you take a break, you eat some food, you drink some water, you rest, and then you get back up and you go again. And something that I've learned is that every time I felt like I would crumble and maybe lose my vision or get really discouraged, that whenever I would decide to get back on the horse and keep going, I would be even stronger the next time. And so in 2009, after I got my master's degree, I got hired at the Tacoma School of the Arts to run their transition program. So basically, I was helping students transition from high school into careers. And that job prepared me for what I'm doing right now, right here in front of you. And I literally got that job because he saw me flying down the street with my red cape flying. I tell you, that cape has magical powers. And he was like, what does she do? And then the principal of the school, like, he was like running after me, like, going really fast. And he was like totally out of breath. And he stopped me on the street and he's like, do you need a job right now? And at that time, I had just finished my master's degree, and I was in a dead-end office job and was like looking for a job. And I was like, I do actually. And he's like, I really want to hire you. And I was like, you don't know me though. And he's like, I just know that I want to hire you. And so pretty much I went in and interviewed with him, and he hired me. And while I was there at SOTA, I was doing small workshops with the students in helping them plan for their careers. And I also spoke at their assemblies and their camp. And so that really like started showing me, like, I can do this. Like, it's just opened the door to public speaking. And in 2011, that job ended because funding ended. And that was really disappointing. And actually in 2011, when I lost my job, I had a major meltdown. Like, I pretty much kind of checked out for a couple months because I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. And it kind of felt like a slap in the face, like, I've been working so hard and now it seems like, where is my life going? And so I ended up in the ER actually with severe anemia. and I was extremely, extremely ill. And so I literally had to just lay in bed for 2 months because I was sick. And in that time, my friends and family stepped up and they paid for my rent and everything. And I mean, it's that kind of support that will get you through those hard times. But the truth is that once I got better and got strengthened, I started meeting with a career counselor, and I was just kind of like, I don't know where to go from here. And she's like, Jenny, you have a clean slate. Why don't you get a business license and start marketing yourself as a motivational speaker? And it seems so simple, and that's what I've been working towards the whole time. And so I took her advice and I did. I got a business license, and my sister helped me build a website. And it started out with just some friends that believed in me and me making phone calls to schools in the area. And all of a sudden, I started going into schools and sharing. I started an anti-bullying campaign called The Power of Words. And so I shared my experience of how words affected me in high school, middle school and high school, and how the positive words through my friends like build me up, and that they have the power to build each other up through positive words. And now it's 3 years later, and just this week I have 4 events that I'm speaking at. So I never thought it would get this good. If you would ask me in 2011, like, what was going to happen with my life, like, I wasn't very hopeful, but through support and encouragement, like, that hope is restored, and now I am running a successful motivational speaking business. So I wanted to just leave some thoughts with you. Actually, do those work? Could I have someone write on the board? Or yeah, my assistant here. So